Welcome to Crane Connectivity Solutions online VendMax training series. These video presentations examine ways of increasing operational productivity by analyzing existing VendMax data fields. In this episode, we will focus on ways your VendMax data can save you time. Time is the foundation of productivity because time, while infinite in theory, can and does become distinctly finite during an average workday. The basic formula for productivity, or recipe if you prefer that term, like I do because I don't like math, but the basic formula for productivity is measurable progress plus volume over time. Increasing the productivity of a route begins with identifying how much time we have to work with and approximating what we can reasonably expect to achieve with the amount of time we have. VendMax can help us identify our time and show us what we're doing with that time. We are then free to take actions that increase our accomplishments every single delivery day. Let's assume a driver anticipates the typical workday to last around 9 hours. What I mean by 9 hours is the time from the time that she enters the warehouse in the morning until the time she leaves in the evening. If we allow 1 hour in the morning for travel to POS number 1 and 1 hour in the afternoon for end-of-day procedures, that leaves us with approximately 7 hours of delivery time, minus breaks or lunch. Now, obviously, the number of POSs serviced per day can vary significantly due to factors such as drive time, security, driver ability, etc. But it is perfectly reasonable for an organization to set expectations and schedule accordingly. Setting expectations creates a benchmark for future measurement and allows for clear communication between the office, the supervisors, and the delivery staff. Dedicated vending routes should be servicing between 20 and 32-ish machines per day. Again, depending on route density, security, etc. Now, occasionally, I run across a route servicing more than 40 points of sale per day, and my question for those routes is always the same. Were 40 machines actually serviced and stocked today, or were 40 machines merely opened and closed? A good OCS benchmark to start with is 3 or 4 coffee stations per hour, but micro markets can be a bit more complicated. Micro markets raise several questions. Are we doing a complete fill, or are we only servicing perishable goods? Does the market do $100 a day or $1,000 a day? One way to guesstimate time for market deliveries is to approximate a vending machine equivalent, if that helps. For example, if a market has a beverage cooler, a perishable foods cooler, a dry goods rack, and perhaps a coffee station, the market would be the equivalent of servicing 4 to 6 traditional points of sale. This would make a complete micro-market service take 60 to 90 minutes, which limits our micro-market visit capability to perhaps 6 or 7 per day. This is why we need to make every visit count. Time is money, the old bromide says. So let's see how VendMax can help make the most out of every visit. Okay, what we're looking at today is a basic Vend Visit tab, which we have filtered for Route 1 for a particular day on the 19th of October. What we see here before us are a number of Vend Visit fields, route code, DEX handheld status. This is telling us whether or not the machine DEXed properly, what type of machine it is, beverage glass front, snack. And we've got our timestamps that walks us through the day, DEX vends, column sellouts, percent depleted, and finally daily vends over on the right-hand side. So again, we are discussing time, and the first thing we want to look at is what we got accomplished today. So on this day, we visited 19 machines. This was 19 points of sale. The driver started at 4:30. They dexed their first machine at 4:32 a.m. And the final machine was dexed at noon. So that gives us a delivery day time frame of 7.5 hours. Okay, so that is a little below where we're hoping to see if we think about a 7-hour delivery day, and we're hoping to get 21 machines in a day. We're a little behind where we want to be. So let's take a look at the times and see how this day progressed. So beginning here with 4:32 a.m., the driver dexed a machine, probably worked those machines, restocked them, went to the next place, 5:11. Okay, there's about a half an hour gap there. Maybe the driver had to move from one place to another. They got to another bank of machines here. Okay, and then we've got an hour between this stop and this stop. Now, maybe that hour was drive time. Maybe the person had to go to another location. It took them a while to get in. That could be. But we've got several visits here in the 7 o'clock hour. And to me, this is what I'm looking to see. Are we seeing multiple visits per hour? We understand that there's drive time and certain gaps of time. But as an example here, we've got, 3 visits in the 7 o'clock hour, and we've got 2 visits in the 8 o'clock hour. But then notice that's a rather large gap between 8:30 roughly and 9:50. That's almost an hour and a half gap between Vend visits. I would question the route person in this case. What is there an issue? Was there traffic? Was there an accident? What happened there? Because we seem to visit another bank of 2 machines and then get to another stop, I guess, perhaps with a half an hour there. But 10:35 to 11:30, again, another hour gap there. So we seem to have some reasonably sized gaps in this day that I personally would want to have explained or understand in order to justify not quite reaching 21 machines in a day. But then our final dex, of course, is at 12 noon with a 7.5 hour day. 7.5 hour delivery day, I should say. Next, we have Dex Vends. And this is where time and productivity meet. So we expended our 7-8 hour delivery day. We did. Someone did something and was out in a truck and they worked and got things done. The question becomes, what did they get done? Now, in these first 2 examples, we don't have a DEX file for these machines. Maybe they're old machines. Maybe there's a mechanical problem. I don't know. But beginning with the machines that we do have DEX Vends for, take a look at this example. So this visit, we had 32 DEX Vends. We didn't have any column sellouts when we got there. The machine was about 43% depleted to par. That's important to note. In VendMax, this percent depleted field is depleted from par levels, not capacity levels. And then, of course, we've got a daily Vends amount for this machine of about 15 Vends per day. So did we visit this machine perhaps more often than we needed to? There weren't any sold outs. We didn't really add a whole lot of product. The machine did seem to be rather empty to a certain degree, 43% empty. Were we missing some products that we were out of in the warehouse? I mean, this is definitely something worth investigating, but it also points out to us that that was kind of a wasted visit. I mean, 32 pieces, not a whole lot. And as we look down our range here, when we see visits that are in the 30s and 40s and 50s, this is an indication that we may not be putting our time to the best amount of use. Now, we are seeing percent depleted amounts that look pretty good. What you can look for in your own data, of course, would be any visits that are depleted less than 20%. So here's an example. This is a beverage machine, a stacker machine, that we didn't get a DEX file for, but it was only 14% depleted when we went there. That, to me, seems like kind of a waste of time, especially with a machine that's only vending 8 or 9 units per day. What we hope to achieve, the sweet spot that we're looking for, is down here. Take a look at these snack machines. We've got 101 vends, one sold out, about 50% depleted. That is a lovely Vend Visit. That was a wonderful use of everyone's time. The warehouse's time in packing the order, the delivery person's time in making the order. The customer provided us with good turns. We provided them with good service. Look, and even though this machine is only vending 7 or 8 items a day, I would say by the looks of this Vend Visit that everyone was satisfied. The customer, the route person, the warehouse, management. That really is a sweet spot for what I would consider to be a productive Vend Visit. And sort of the same things here. 107, 109, 1 or 2 sold out columns, maybe 3. Your sensitivity to sell out columns is completely operator specific. Some people have accounts where no sellouts are accepted at all. Others have accounts where sellouts are accepted and they're normal, and we can push the boundaries of efficiency. Most operations have a combination of both. So we understand that we want to work within the confines of each customer, but we can, as we look at this information as a whole, we see a day where perhaps there were some visits that we can stretch the service cycle out on. And of course, we could use the hot links part of VendMax to open up these particular points of sale and show us the schedule. We are very pleased with these visits right here in the middle. And down here at the bottom, this may be a machine that we need to investigate. 213 vends, of course, is fantastic, but 9 sold outs may not be acceptable. It was a relatively empty machine for a snack machine, 55% depleted, and it seems to do a decent amount of sales each day. So perhaps this is a machine where we need to visit more often. But this is how we begin to put VendMax data to work. We have lots and lots of information in VendMax, and it does many different things. It tells us many different stories. But in the interest of time and productive time, what are we doing with our time? Are we making the most of our time? Using these few fields, analyzing these few fields in Vend Visits, route by route, day by day. A route supervisor can do this. Someone in the office could do this. A route person could even look at this on their own if that's the way that your organization runs. But it's looking at this information day after day, getting used to what's normal, noticing what isn't normal, and then using this information to take action. So, for example, in this machine, I would open up this point of sale, look at the Vend Visit history, and decide, am I going there too often? I might do that for all of these rather low volume visits. And again, on the flip side, on the high visits with high sold outs, I might look at that and say, am I going more often? And I'd talk to the driver about the time gaps that we noticed, and that's a day. Measurable progress times volume over time. That's what's going to make us productive. Thank you for watching this video. For more information about productivity solutions with CCS products and services, please visit www.craneconnectivitysolutions.com.